Now when I was in college and I wanted to take the family car out, I only got one piece of advice from my mom and dad. Be careful with the car. But somehow my brother, he never got that advice. Now I'll be honest, I have always been the troublemaker in the family, whereas he's the one who's always walked the straight and narrow. But when it came to picking a car for the both of us, my parents, they never discriminated. They always picked the car with the maximum number of safety features. And that's something that the Kia Carens also does. No matter which variant of this RV that you pick, you get the maximum number of safety features. So today, let's take a drive in the Kia Carens. I'll tell you all about the safety features that you get in there and how they help keep you safe on the road. The first two features that we want to talk about are ABS and rear parking sensors. Now honestly, ABS, it's a godsend. ABS helps you when you're braking really hard in an emergency situation and your wheels are about to lock up. At that point of time, it releases the pressure and your wheels still have the ability to turn. So you can maneuver the vehicle in any way which you want to get out of the path of the obstacle that you're heading into. So ABS, it's really crucial and it's available on all variants of the Carens. So is rear parking sensors. So rear parking sensors are all about reversing at slow speeds into tight spaces. They help you see what you can't, because your eyes can only see what's there in the rear view mirror, but the rear parking sensors, they help you see what's also below your eye level, below your eyesight level, so that when you're reversing, you're confident that you're not backing into anything. There's nothing stationary parked, there's no dog there, there's no small pole there or anything that could damage your car. So for that reason, rear parking sensors are also very important. Okay, the next feature we have on a list is TPMS, or tire pressure monitoring system. Now TPMS is crucial because it displays the pressure in your tires on your MID right here in front of the driver. So what that does is, if your tire pressure drops or is too high, you immediately get notified on your screen here and then you can rectify the situation. Now why are tire pressures important? Well, the engineers at Kia, they have designed the Carens to run on a specific tire pressure. Now at that point of time, you'll have the right amount of grip, you'll have the tires will last the most optimal amount, and honestly the car will just function like it's supposed to. So on that front also, TPMS is something that makes your job a little more easier, stops you from being lazy, so that whenever your tire pressures go down, you can immediately pull into a rest stop, fill up your tires and be done with it. Okay, I want to talk about brakes again, and the Carens, it has disc brakes on all four wheels. Now generally in a vehicle, you only get disc brakes on the front wheels, and that's because most of the stopping, it's done by the front wheels. But the Carens, it's an RV. It's meant to ferry around your family. And that means when the car is fully loaded, you will have weight on the rear wheels also. That means they can utilize more stopping power, and that's what disc brakes do. Also, disc brakes can be electronically actuated, so it can be better connected to the suite of sensors that are present in the car. Now, Kia has also packed in a bunch of sensors into the Carens. Sensors that measure how much the vehicle is pitching forward or back, how much it's rolling, or what your steering angle is, or sensors at the wheel that measure your wheel speed. Now, these are important because they help two features, and that is ESC and VSM. Now, ESC is electronic stability control and VSM is vehicle stability management. Overall, these kind of overlap each other and are part of the one overall system to keep you safe, but they have been mentioned differently by Kia. That's because they do a couple of different things also. First is wheel spin mitigation, and that's basically traction control. Now what that does is, whenever you're on a slippery surface and the coefficient of friction is low, the engine, it is sent a message to cut engine power so that the power going to your wheels is reduced, so your wheels stop spinning. That's also part of both these features. The second and the more important one is, when you're going into a corner and say imagine you have taken too much speed into a corner and your front end loses grip. Now you're going wide, you will not be able to make that corner. Through your steering sensor, the vehicle determines the intended direction, the path that you want the vehicle to follow, but obviously it has other sensors also which measure that it's not following that path. So it brakes individual wheels to bring the vehicle back in line. It can also cut power if it feels that is required to make sure that you take the corner safely. And now another example of this is when you turn in too quickly and you lose your rear wheels, and that is called oversteer. Now in that case again, the vehicle can brake individual wheels to bring it back in line. Now while it can do a bit of this braking on its own, when you generally want to bring a vehicle to a stop, the Kia requires you to apply the brakes. Now sometimes in a panic situation, you're not able to engage the brakes fully. That means you do know you want to stop and your movement has also been panicky when you've quickly come onto the brakes and tried to hit them, tried to apply the brakes to stop, but it doesn't work out. You do not fully engage the brakes, and in that case you have the brake assist system. What it does is it measures how quickly or how violently you get onto the brake. So if in that case you've not applied full braking pressure, in that case the Carens will apply the brakes for you. Okay, it won't fully apply the brakes for you, but it will make sure that there is maximum pressure inside the system so that the maximum amount of braking force is applied to stop the car. Okay, now I have a couple of more features I want to talk about before I wrap up this video, and they are HAC and DVC. Don't be confused of those abbreviations. That's hill assist control and downhill braking control. Okay, now whenever you're on an incline, if you try and start off, your vehicle rolls back, and to mitigate that you sometimes pull the handbrake and keep it pulled until you start moving. That's pretty much SAC, but that's you doing it manually. In the Kia Carens, it happens automatically. So whenever you get off the brake to get on the accelerator to start moving on an incline, the Kia Carens, it automatically keeps the brake applied until you get on the throttle or for a few seconds. So in that case, you have enough time to shift your foot from the brake to the throttle and get going without the Carens rolling back. Now in the easiest of scenarios, the only thing that will happen is you'll probably just slightly bump into the person at the back. And in cases where you do not have space at the back, probably you're on a hill, there's an edge of the cliff or anything is there, in that case this function becomes really easy, makes it really easy for you to get out of a tricky situation. Last feature on my list is DBC or downhill brake control. Very simple, very easy to use. Whenever you're going down and downhill incline, you can simply set the speed using the buttons on your steering wheel, and while going down an incline, you do not have to press the accelerator or the brake for that matter. The Kia Carens will automatically regulate your speed by applying the brakes if and when required. Now that's a nice one. And lest we forget, you also have 6 airbags in the Kia Carens, so no matter which row you're sitting in, and fingers crossed you never need them, but just in case you do, you are covered to an extent. And with that, we have reached the end of this video. Why don't you tell us in the comment section below which feature of the Kia Carens do you find to be the most useful and you feel will help you out the most in your everyday driving conditions. I want to listen to your answers down in the comment section. I'll get back to you also and I'll tell you which features work the best for me. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, goodbye.